To the world of football, where the Nigeria Women's Football League kicked off on Wednesday with Matchday 1 delivering an action-packed start to the season. Now, fans were treated to a thrilling display of attacking football as 23 goals were scored across 8 matches. The round saw 2 impressive away wins, 1 draw and 5 commanding home victories, signaling a season filled with promise and fierce competition. Now, as the league gains momentum, attention turns to its prospects for growth and sustainability. A lot are looking at the season, the 2024-25 season, as a season where we expect the very best of women's football in Nigeria. Now, joining us to talk about the plans, highlighting what we hope to expect this season and what we should build on from the last season into this season is the chairperson of the Nigeria Women's Football League, Nkechi Obi, joins us this afternoon. Good afternoon to you and welcome to In the Game.
Good afternoon, Favor. Happy New Year. Always a pleasure to talk to you. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing very well. Happy New Year. And the new year began with, of course, women's football. And we're looking at the very best. I mean, we had Matchday 1. I would like to ask, what are your key objectives for the Nigeria Women's Football League this season? And how do you hope to make this particular season different from the previous one, which, of course, Edo Queens won?
Thank you very much, Favor. You know, we don't really have different goals except to step up. We had set ourselves targets when we came on board in 2023. So what we're trying to do this season is to step up our operations, step up our targets. So when we came on board, we said we wanted to grow the number of people in girls and women to cross the that is community.
All right. I think we have network challenges connecting with our guests, but we hope to have her back soon. But match day 1 of the Nigeria Women's Football League saw 23 goals scored. Robo Queens of Lagos got an away win. We had competitive fixture between Rivers Angels and Ibom Angels. Interesting matchup also across different parts of Nigeria, including Remo Stars ladies also getting an away win. I mean, interesting startup for the Nigeria Women's Football League, Baby Dikbo.
Yeah, beautiful one, if you would ask me. Fantastic games all around. Remo Stars, giving baptism of fire away at Confluence Queens, a 3-1 win. And, Robo Queens as well, fantastic talent, there on display. 5 goals away. I think it just showed the difference in class between both teams as well. Edo Queens, doing the normal thing for me, you always expect fantastic football from this side. And they've not relented. As if you notice, I don't know if you saw the game, but Miracle Sani's first goal in that game, more or less like a cross, it turned into a shot on target, and it was a fantastic goal as well for Miracle Sani in that one. So it was, for me, the game's definitely top notch. Another level as well, if you ask me, the NWFL, for me, they're going another level this season, putting some key matches even on TV as well. So for me, it's an important one as well, and one of the reasons why I think the NWFL will get more following this season as well. And it's a very important one. I think they are doing quite well. The first game day, I saw 23 goals, which is not something, which is not a norm. It is not a regular, and it was beautiful to see. It was beautiful to see. For me, I feel the NWFL has a lot of potentials. And we hope to see more growth this season in the NWSL.
All right, more goals to be witnessed this season, according to Gbemidik. But let's take a look at the table as it stands. We have Group A and Group B, or rather, 2 groups. There's an abridged version of the league where teams will play for the Super 6, as the case may be. Yes, in Group A, we have Edo Queens currently top of the table because of a very good goal difference, +5. Remo Stars ladies are second with 3 points, and, of course, +2. Ekiti Queens, interesting one, good start for them as they are currently third on the log board. Just been told that we have the chairperson back, Nkechi Obi returns. Welcome back. Nkechi Obi, if you can hear me, kindly.
Thank you, okay. Favor. I don't know if you can. Yes, I can hear you, but can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. All right, so you were saying, you were talking about...
Yes, it says our network bandwidth is...
All right, so you were talking about, what you hope...
So let me quickly do this. So this season, our goal is to be...
All right, please go on. All right, interesting one right there. And maybe in this part of the world, of course, we know how it is right there with our network. But we're just talking about the table of the Nigerian Men's Football. We'll take a look at the Group A table. Let's quickly move on to Group B and see how it is at the moment. For Group B, it's FC Robo Queens in first position. We have Rivers Angels in second, Bayelsa Queens in third. That's Adamawa Queens fourth, Nigeria Warriors, Ibom Angels, Delta Queens, and Benue Queens. It seems when we talk about Nigerian Men's Football League, we know the usuals. I mean, when it comes to who would qualify to the Super Six, but we're looking at this season as a season that might just we might just witness an upset as teams are looking forward to start well and also finish well, especially with Matchday 1 results. Or will you say it's early days yet?
Yeah, if you would ask me, I think there's always a trend. There's a pattern in the end of WFL where you see the traditional sides, the big sides, the River Angels of the end of WFL, the Edo Queens, the Bayelsa Queens. There was a time even Nigeria Warriors were in the reckoning, but now they've not really lived up to the billing. But this season, I'm expecting a huge surprise from the girls from Ikene. That's Remo Stars ladies for me. I'm expecting something different.
All right, maybe they will. But we'll come back to your thoughts. Just kindly hold your thoughts. We'll come back to it. But we'll just let's go back now to Nkechi Obi. She's back. She was talking about what we should expect this season in the Nigeria Women Football League.
Thanks, Favor. Today seems to be a particularly terrible day as far as network issues are concerned. But let me quickly say to you, what we are trying to do is to amplify our voice this season. So we're going to be on air, 2 matches a week, star matches, with a highlight show. What that is supposed to get us is to get us more eyeballs. And if we get more eyeballs, we get advertisers looking at us and saying, okay, this might just be a product that we should focus on, that's Women's League. Look at Matchday 1, an average 3 goals per match, which means we're guaranteed to score. Not so sure there's any game that have a goal in it. And we had games with 5 goals, 2 games with 5 goals scored by 1 person, and then the game with Robo Queens, 6 goals in that game, even the opponent scored. So what we're trying to do is to showcase the fact that we have grown. And we have grown to include more people. We have grown to include more girls, more women playing the game. We have grown to, we're to the point where we have clubs who are aspiring now properly on a regular basis as Champions League. So we expect to see, as I said, more games on TV. We expect to see more people in the stadiums. We expect to see corporate organizations coming to discuss with us what they want. It's not about what we want. We would like to see some things, but let's also consider what they want become better, and they can actually now support in terms of not only sponsorship, but investment. So we have a lot of goals this season, and at the end of it all, we should be able to say that our ecosystem has expanded. The number of girls and women playing football has expanded. The number of clubs, be they academy level, be they proper professional clubs, has expanded. And the women's game, like the women's league, the oldest league in Africa, can truly claim, its rightful position within the continent. Thank you.
All right, fantastic innovations right there you've planned already for the season. But I'm looking at the welfare of the players. The players are the actors on the day. How is the league addressing or going to address players' welfare? Some club sides, they might not be on the same level with every club, but it's important that key players are looked at in terms of their contracts, in terms of whatever they earn from respective clubs. How is the league going to ensure or enforce that clubs meet with these monies or whatever contracts they've signed with players, and also to improve welfare of players this season?
Okay, so there are two questions that favor. So let me take the first one, enforcement of contracts. That's clear. I'm very glad the NFF even set up like an arbitration committee and to look at where issues arise. So when people call me to say, oh, this is happening, that is happening in my club, and I don't know what to do, I say, address your complaints properly. Put it in writing, send it to the secretariat, to the COO, and we will now know where to channel your complaint. If it requires you to kick it upstairs to the NFF committee that looks into players' issues, we will advise you to kick it upstairs to them. If it's something we can take care of at our level, we will do that. So that's as far as when contracts are not being upheld properly, especially in with regards to players. Now you come back to should they be paying? The second question is look at how much they are paying them and whatever. So I'm going to ask you a question, Favor. You work for News Central. Is your salary the same as the person working in TVC? Of course you can't. It's a business. Hold on. It's a business. So you pay what you say you will pay. We have a minimum. So
exactly. I was going to come to that. There's a minimum wage. That's the minimum wage I was going to come to.
So it's like there's minimum wage across the country, and nobody's expected to pay less than minimum wage. So there's minimum wage for players. But once the minimum wage has been met, it's not our place to say you will pay players like this. But as long as you meet minimum wage, it is when you don't meet minimum wage that we now enter the discussion. I'm happy to say nobody has come to us to tell us that they have not been paid minimum wage. If they come to us and tell us that, we have channels to address the issue. But over and above that, each club will pay what they can. And it is left for the player to either accept or reject.
All right, you've also brought clarity to minimum wage. And just to get more clarity, is the minimum wage the one of the federal government, or the league has a minimum wage for players playing in the Nigerian Women Football League?
We've always had a minimum wage. We've always had, even before the federal government brought, and I think we are a bit higher than the federal government's minimum wage. We've always had.
All right, before we let you go, finally, the league is indeed the backbone of the national teams, the under-17, the under-20, and of course the Super Falcons of Nigeria. In the past, we used to have more league players, playing the Super Falcons, but these days it has been after they get a good season, they move on to Europe or Asia, whatever parts of the world to ply their trade. It means that when we have a very fantastic season with our players, you might not see them the next season. How do you think the league can, make it more robust in terms of players seeing the league as, I want to play 5 seasons, I want to play 4 seasons. I think I can do more and also get more exposure instead of just after 1 season straight on they are go off to Europe. And look at the Super Falcons. We have majority of our players playing outside of Nigeria.
Answer that question, because I don't see why you want to put the women's league on the spot for something that is also operating in the men's league. Which players in our national teams, even up to for the men, even up to the under-20, are playing locally? Which one? Is it not the same pattern that when play 1 season, 2 seasons, they're going to play in places even as outlandish as Laos and Vietnam and places like that? So that's what happens. It's change. It's because we keep seeing it as that's the only place. What we are going to, that we choose national team players from players who are playing abroad. Maybe if we started what the Super Falcons coach has done, the new Super Falcons coach has done, is incorporating players from our league. That is something that we now encourage people that, okay, let's stay here. That's number one. So there's nothing special about what we are doing that the men's league is not doing. Having said that, I am a proponent of investment into the ecosystem of the league. That's how you are going to make sure that people can stay 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. So hopefully sometime in the future, I hope our clubs can own their own homes. They are not sharing stadium with anybody. It is their stadium, and therefore they can monetize their stadium, have the money to pay the kind of wages and salaries that will ensure that players stay 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons. I'd like to see a player sign for 4 seasons instead of signing for this 1 year, 1 year, 1 year. Every year they're going from one place to the other. It's simply because of lack of investment into the league. And that's why I separate investment from sponsorship. Sponsorship ensures that you can play weekly, but investment is what is required for the long-term future of the game, where we can keep players here, where we can take somebody from academy and we can say he has played 10 years, 12, and maybe that's when we'll begin to see the women in our clubs here become the predominant number of players in the national teams.
All right, I must say big thank you to you, Madam Nkechi Obi, for your quality time. You've been able to give us a roadmap of the season, and we hope that would have interesting match days, and hoping that the very best would come out and represent Nigeria on the continent of Africa. Thank you very much for joining.
Thank you, Favor. Always a pleasure to talk to you. Have a great day.
All right, that was Nkechi Obi, the Nigeria Women Football League chairperson. And Gbemidepo, interesting conversation. I mean, we look at what she said about what to do, how to bring investment into the league, and also the welfare of players. We do know that the Nigeria Premier Football League have a minimum wage. It's been there, 150,000 naira since then. Though the economy at the moment is not the same as then, but it has not been changed yet. But the Nigeria Women Football League, you see, there's a minimum wage, but at the end of the day, we still don't know the exact amount, because club sides I've heard cases of players complaining and earning as below even 50,000 in some clubs in the past. And then the question is, what is the minimum wage that you think would deem fit for Nigeria Women's Football League, where players can say, I mean, it should not go below this, but it can also go ahead of above this?
Putting me on the spot on that, the minimum fee, a player in the NWFL should earn. I think it should not be less than 200,000, if you ask me, because it's a job that it is not for life. That's what I want us to understand, and that's one difficult thing about the game. It is not for life. There are times where the players can actually get injured as well. So for me, it is not just about what the player is earning alone. It's about what else is in store for the players. Is there an NHIS scheme for them? Is there pension? Is there a pension scheme as well after playing or while you are playing?
But generally, there's no pension there's no pension playing football. I mean, generally, you will not say a player should come around
Yeah, definitely. I am just saying. I'm just saying that different leagues can definitely have different ways to support their players during during active years and outside of their active years. Yeah, you will say generally that it's not obtainable everywhere, but what the Europeans use to support their players while playing and after their active years is not obtainable here in this part of the world.
All right.
So what I'm saying is at this point in time, if you say you are paying a certain amount, is it the exact amount that is entering the bank account of these players? That is the question as well.
All right, the question begging for answers. All right, thank you very much, Gbemidepo. We'll go on a quick break, and when we come back, we have more football stories for you.